Hi and welcome all to the CAA show. My name is Juggi Bhasin. CAA is, of course, conversations and analysis. When we pause a bit in our frenetic lives and reflect on the state of our country, we cannot help but feel that we are a society in transition. Change is the operative word when it comes to the youth, the polity, and the aspirations of the people. In the recent past, more than any other state in the country, Kashmir has undergone tumultuous change. We occasionally get a glimpse of this change through newspaper reports and television news clips. The narrative is usually about militant attacks or perhaps the cliche ridden calm waters of the Dal Lake when peace prevails. But Kashmir is so much more than these tired, exhausting narratives. And the one person who has seen the rainbow colors of Kashmir and also its pithy darkness like perhaps no other person is Mrs. Khem Lata Wakhlu. In her new book, A Kashmiri Century Portrait of a Society in Flux, Mrs. Wakhlu, like the narrator Sanjay in the Mahabharata, chronicles the transition, the changing hues and colors of Kashmiri society, its spiritual seat and heritage, but also its dense fanaticism, its highs and lows like no other person. She is also a social worker and a former state tourism minister, but above all, a very impressive writer. And it is my pleasure today to have her on my show. Welcome, Mrs. Wakhlu, to the CAA show. First of all, a big congratulations on your new book.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
So, Mrs. Wakhlu, I believe this is a labor of love. You have written this book, and I'm trying to get my copy because of this pandemic situation. I still haven't got my copy, and I hope to get it very soon. But I have read so many reviews about the book. How did it come about? What was the motivation to write this book? Tell us a little bit about that.
Because I've been living here through and through, in between, whenever I went to abroad and other places. But this was from my childhood to this past, that my husband and myself, we stayed put here in spite of the fact that there was a tremendous militancy, upheaval, influx, and all sorts of unrest and everything. But we decided to stay here. It is a big story which I have already written, and I'm still writing about the days which were trying, which were very hard, painful, very difficult to stay here. But we stayed put, and I am sure, and the dreams we have had at that time also, that things are going to go round and everything will be all right one day. One
I'll come to the difficult days in a moment and
day.
all the turbulent past. But let's start from the beginning, right from the beginning. The book is about the Dhar family. It is about set in Rishi Valley.
Yes.
I believe it is to some extent autobiographical, if I'm not mistaken, Mrs. Wakhlu. So tell us
Yes.
the importance of Rishi Valley. Tell us how it is situated. Why is it so central to the book? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Actually, at the time of my grandparents, my grandfather, the it was Pathan rule or something like that. No, not it was the Maharaja's rule. But before that, also we have had very difficult time. I mean, Kashmir is general, and our family was in limelight. Sort of, they were just working with these Pathans and whosoever came here. They were just in bureaucracy and, because of language, Persian language, other things, Kashmiri pundits were in that milieu. And my grandfather, he was very young and his brother was kidnapped from Srinagar. And that too from a family who was Kashmiri family living in Lucknow. They had migrated from this place long back, and they wanted to adopt a son.
Okay.
And the priest and everything, I mean, it's a long story to make it short. Sorry.
You don't need this.
Okay.
That's absolutely all right. Don't worry.
All right,
Yes.
because I was not getting.
Sure. Absolutely.
So at that time, she wanted to adopt a son, and it was, my grandfather's brother was kidnapped, and they went there.
Right.
In fact, my grandfather's father was married at that time,
Okay.
and he had wife, and he left it here. And later on, they all went to Lucknow and
Right.
stayed there for 22 years till my grandfather graduated. He was graduated, and later on they were grown up, and as a kid he went there, and
Okay.
later on they came back, and that was because of my great grandmother.
But when they came back to this very house,
No,
this very place.
house was joint family house. His uncles and brothers, and not brothers, uncles, they were living in that. He thought, because the problem was that his maternal and his own land and everything, Jagir, as they
Okay.
used to call, that was grabbed by his own relatives. And he
Oh.
didn't want to stay in their
Okay.
home while he had decided that he is going to fight for his rights and to get that land and everything back. That was the story behind that.
Okay. So
And
it's a
he
kind of a
had to
migration back to Kashmir in a certain sense.
and back to Kashmir, and then he went in the government job in
Right.
Maharaja's time, Pratap Singh's time.
Right.
And then he was in education department
Mhm.
and started sort of, education in India was not, so common and everything. You know the
Okay.
history. So they wanted to start the education here also,
Right.
which was till then it was taught in the Persian, and later on they shifted over to English, and
Okay.
he was also educationist.
So this background and all these stories you're saying find their way in the book.
Yeah.
They're part of the book.
Yes. His kidnapping is the first story, and later on, gradually, when times had passed on, and the stories have also naturally
Correct.
started. And some stories means after 43, 44, those which I have myself witnessed are there in that stories. Otherwise, one or two stories are in the back, in 18th century or
Okay.
early 19th century, when I was not born
Sure.
at that
So
time.
Rishi Valley is actually a place in Kashmir, in the valley.
Actually, Rishi Vihar is a house.
Rishi
The
Vihar.
name of the house was Rishi Vihar.
Right.
And the whole mohalla became Rishi Vihar. That
Okay.
whole mohalla was named after this Rishi Vihar.
All right.
And actually, Kashmiris used to have, everybody used to say that it is a Wadi, Pir War in
Oh.
Kashmiri, or Rishwar, or
Okay.
saints and Rishi's home is called,
Yes.
in Kashmiri they call it Rishwar, Pirwar, that sort of names
That's
for
right.
Kashmir Valley.
Correct.
So
You
it's
know,
not a new thing.
it's
It
not
has been there for.
a long time. You know, I'll tell you my own remembrances of Kashmir. I used to be a television journalist, well, long back, and my beat actually was Kashmir. But when the time, and I'm talking of at the height of the militancy, I used to go there and cover that. I used to work in Doordarshan News. And my own remembrance is that of Ranwadi. You know, and at Ranwadi, even at that time,
Ranawari.
had been deserted completely. You know, all
Yes,
the
yes.
Kashmiri pundits had
Yes, that is right, Ranawari.
Ranawadi had left. In fact, I set my first
Most of
book.
sorry to interrupt you, most of the Kashmiri Pandits used to live in Habakadal, Chinkramala, center place of Srinagar city,
That's
and
right.
Ranawari also was a
Ranawadi also.
congested area where they used to live.
So
And
where are you guys
Ranawari is a
now?
name after the saint. This time it is a Mukdum Sahab, they call it,
Okay.
because
Okay.
Rana Sahab was a Pandit Rishi.
Right.
And
Okay.
that is on the Hari Parvat. If you remember, one side of the
That's
Hari
right. That's
Parvat
right.
has got Hindu shrine, other side of the Mukdum Sahib, and he was a Rana. And later on, he was very famous and loved by each and every person, every Kashmiri.
Every
And his
Kashmiri.
name had become, Mukdum Sahib,
Okay.
Mukdama. And they,
Right. So we can actually go on chatting about the past and about remembrances, but let's come to some more interesting questions, and they are all obviously connected with your work, with your life. And I haven't still told my viewers really about the most significant part of your life, which is 1991 and about
oh,
your
yes,
kidnapping. But we'll come to that. That's a
of
different
course.
chapter, but we'll come to it in a moment. But Mrs. Wakhlu, Kashmir has always been the abode of Muslims, of course, Kashmiri pundits, of Sikhs, Dogras, Buddhists. Even I read somewhere, even the Afghans are also there. So it's
Yes.
like a melting pot of society. Today, in a larger sense, do you feel that the kind of secular fabric of Kashmir has completely been torn? Uh, do you think that the old ways are completely gone? Do you feel that there's a completely new? It's almost like a new dawn, but a dawn nobody wants to see of Kashmir, which is happening. What is
Actually,
your opinion?
my impression is that when we were kidnapped, my husband and myself, we were both kidnapped in 1991.
91,
And
yes,
things were, yes, 91 in the month of September.
yeah.
And 1.5 months we lived with those militants in Kashmir, and they were dreaded militants. But what we, with interaction, with all sorts of dialogues, whatever we had, for that matter, we had dialogue with Salahuddin, who is this time in Pakistan. What is Al Umar or something great
Okay.
organization. I don't remember exactly
Right.
which organization it is, but he at that time in 1991 he was here, and with him we have had two nights and 1 day, 3 days continuous discussion
Okay.
why you have gone with that. But I must tell you now that you are asking about the Rishi attitude and this fabric of the secular fabric is gone. The Kashmiri, by and large, are really secular. I must tell you. For that matter, uh, everybody is, God fearing. Everybody is, everyone, even if they have to, God forbid, something bad is going to happen in the family, they will immediately not their headgear or something, and we call it, we just say that if this problem is going to get solved, we go to the Mugdam Sahab, we go to Dasgir Sahab, we
Right.
go to Rishi Sahab, which are revered and worshipped by both the communities, all the communities, I should say, in
Okay.
Kashmir. We have got that faith. Everyone is faithful that way. Even militants, so that is what I want to come to,
Okay.
that point. Even in militancy, also, those militants who were Kashmiri militants had tillism of Dasgir Sahab on their tied on their hands, on their forearms, and on their, on their cummerbund, some sort of thing, on
This
their
is
waist.
remarkable. I didn't know this. This
And
is remarkable.
this is what I have observed myself. And
Okay.
some one day I told that one of the militants, I said, don't go and have, why don't you have bath and something? He said, I can't have bath here because I have got something. In Kashmiri we call it rich, that is a talisman,
Talisman. Yes, right.
some sort of a saintly
Yeah.
thing they usually
Correct.
have, but it is tied on the arm,
Oh, right.
upper
Right.
arm. Usually it is tied on the upper arm. He
Correct.
said, who is going to keep it? I said, you keep it with me. I will keep it safe.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. So even those people were, fearful about these things, that if something is going to happen. Then I used to ask them, why are you tiding it like this when you are not, believing in these things, and you are not going the way our great saints and
Sure.
our peers and fakirs had gone.
Yeah.
They would say, no, 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 my mother will be very angry about this.
Oh,
She will be very cross. She said, this is Raksha. Raksha means this is protection,
protection.
and you have to keep it on. You won't die
Wow.
otherwise. That
This is
sort of
remarkable. This
that
is
was militant talking to me, one of the militants. And they would also, one day what happened actually, it is again in militancy. We went to one place, one village. Both of us were kept in that hideout. And there was some sort of a festival sort of thing. The things were getting ready. They were cooking something as if it was some feast was going to get prepared. Something like that. Then I asked someone, I said, what has happened? Is it going, somebody's marriage is going to happen? What is this hustle and bustle? Everybody is sort of, then that one lady of that hideout, she was land's wife, I think. And she said in a very hush tone, he said, no, the whole village has are making amends. I said, amends for what? What has happened actually? She said 1 hafta before, 1 week before this, one gentleman was married in this area, in this village, and he was Jamati. Jamati means that
Jamaat Islami.
hard Jamati Islam,
That's
hardcore militant.
correct.
He kicked away actually, whenever they are having some feast or something, Badadin or kuch, something like that,
Sure.
what they do is that they offer their one big thali, one big plate to the saint who is no more now, but still they take it to his shrine and keep it there.
Okay.
तो उसने कहा कि ऐसे जब हमने ये बना लिया उसको देने के लिए, that gentleman who was their groom, that Jamati man, and that he was a dreaded militant, he kicked the whole thali and threw it out on the ground. And all the ingredients, all the meat, everything was scattered whole in that area.
Sure.
And what happened actually, now the thing is that same night, when this was happening during the day, same night there was cordon off and that military walas came. And they wanted them to search or something like that. Somebody had given them clue that this dreaded militant is there or getting married. Or
right. So,
and then what happened actually in the evening when this whole village was cordoned off, and that this man, along with so many people, were standing in there, that ground. Only one bullet came. They say that villagers say, we don't know who shot that. One bullet, and it went from his head to this one, the same militant. And he was dead there and then. And after 1 week, they were just making this amends.
What a wonderful story! It's such a powerful story. You know, it reminds me. I told the viewers, I still have to read the book. But what I gathered was that your house used to be next to the your neighbors were Muslims, obviously.
Everybody.
Right. And I believe all of you used to climb on ladders and kind of keep talking to each other across the houses.
That was in our childhood, when I was young.
Yes.
And up till my marriage also. They were living till 1990.
Right.
There, those peers.
The peers.
And I must say that those peers are related to the Maulvi Farooq and Umar Farooq family.
Right.
In fact, that family was Masi or something like that, auntie.
Right.
And they were very close to us. I mean, all the families used to be absolutely just friends.
Correct.
Just like that.
I know. I completely understand. But Mrs. Wakhlu, when there's a very strange phenomena which I was trying to, when I was going through the excerpts of your book and I was going into your background, researching your background, there are obviously some Kashmiri pundits who are still there in the valley, But a lot of Kashmiri Pandits have also moved out. A lot of them
Of
are
course.
refugees in Jammu, in
Uh,
Delhi, and so many other
oh, yes,
places.
yes, yes.
Um, in a sense, the remarkable thing is that we keep hearing this narrative that a section of the Muslims in the valley are alienated. Okay? But the fact is, even a large section of the Kashmiri Pandits are alienated because they are deprived of their homeland. It's like an exodus of the Kashmiri Pandits from their homeland.
That's
I
true.
find it so ironic and strange that both the major communities are alienated when it comes to their own homeland. How do you explain this strange phenomena which has, unfolded over the years?
Actually, over the years, actually, the bridge, the ethos is still there.
It also still there.
Everybody is craving, everybody is pining to come back to this place. And those people who are living here, they are also thinking that they should come and we should live together. But unfortunately, what happened at that time? You see, with intimidation, with coercion and other reasons, militants used to come and they would scare each and every person without caste, creed, and color. Even in villages, they would behead somebody's head and they would hang those to the big these trees
Right.
to scare the whole area out, everyone. And unfortunately, those people who behaved like this, they had to, because they had no other option, because they were told, they were intimidated
Right.
that you don't have, because for our religion or whatever it is, they said these are Indians.
Right.
And those people who were in government jobs, some of them in politics also, they
Sure.
were also not spared.
They were
They
also
were also killed. So
correct.
many people, so many MLAs, so many ministers, so
Right.
many high ups in NC, they were killed like, butchered, killed
That's
like carrots.
correct. Correct. So,
And in
yeah.
Congress people, they were also killed. I
Yes.
mean, because they were, they would think that they are Indians and they are just informers or something like that.
That's right. That's right.
So
Correct.
other people were scared to death
I
if
understand.
they behaved like that, and naturally so,
No, no, I
because
completely understand. But let me take you back to because the viewers, you mentioned about it, but again, I like to tell our viewers that you and your husband were kidnapped. Both of them were kidnapped in
91,
1991, if I'm not
when it was
mistaken.
on the peak, the
That's right.
militancy was on the
And you
peak.
were in captivity for almost 45 days, if I'm not
That's
mistaken.
right. Yes.
And you were moved from location to location.
Oh yes,
Okay.
every day.
Every
Even
day they were moved. Yeah.
even one day, three hideouts were
Yeah.
changed.
So my question, Mrs. Wakhlu, is this: talk to us a little bit about your emotions, your feelings. I mean, I have to admire your courage, by the way, that you are so calm even today about the what you went through. But it is also a greater act of courage to come back to the same place. You have come back to Kashmir, you are settled back, you are living there, and I'm talking to you right now. Because honestly, if I was kidnapped from a place, I don't know if
Oh,
I would
God
have
forbid.
the
God
wherewithal to go
forbid.
back there.
But I must tell you frankly that I wouldn't wish anybody to go through those
That's right.
horrible situations.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm thankful to God that He has shown us something deeper.
Okay.
Something, so many things have happened, and so many things which, as a politician or as a social worker or anything, I didn't know. The psyche, the interior things, how people were deprived, and how what was happening,
Sure.
their psyche and everything, and on top of it, Pakistan's propaganda
Right.
and Arab money. All sorts of, it was a mess. And we had no, I mean, worth the name, we had no government at all. And I must say, as you said, that what was my feeling? First 1 week I was full of hatred for these militants. I wanted, and every moment, every time I was just thinking to snatch a gun or pistol, or they had so much ammunition and all sorts of gadgets were with these people. They were playing as if that was just khilona or something like that, toys.
Sure.
So I was also thinking how to kill these people.
My
That
God.
was first reaction.
Right.
And I have seen the hatred. Hatred can kill oneself. It was from my head to toe. I was full of hatred, and within my own self, I was full of venom. Venom against these militants. I wanted to kill each and everyone. But then after 7 8 days, when in the morning I just sat to have meditation, just to calm myself. Within me, I was terribly upset, terribly, I was really not unrest, everything, also pain, hurt,
Sure.
everything was there, I can't
Absolutely. Yeah.
explain to you. I was full of hatred with these people
I
and with
understand.
world, with God, with everyone. I said, why
Yes.
has this happened to us? Especially when both of us, in our own way, in his own way, in my own way, we have had so many people, so many people. But it was, it was helpless situation.
Absolutely. But
What
did you feel fearful that you could actually lose your life? Did you ever that thought crossed your
I
mind?
didn't have, but my husband had. He had a tremendous scare. He had, because he said they are erratic. They have no way. I mean, they are not disciplined. They are just going haywire, taking guns, quarreling for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, withdrawing themselves. Also, they can. He thought that they could do anything, anytime, and they could have been doing. They could have done anything wrong. But what happened actually? Why my emotions? One day I was early morning. I heard that azan in the
Yes.
morning, and I
Right.
was just sitting and weeping. 4 o'clock in the morning, 3:34, and I was weeping so badly
Yeah.
because I felt that my heart has got some big lump on my
I
here
understand.
chest,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was weeping, and I was, while this azan was going, and Allah, Allah, I said, you are no Allah. You are no Allah, because everybody is calling you great, Allah the great. What great you are? Why have you put us in this horrible thing? While I was weeping, 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 and then some strange thing happened to me. That lump on my chest, it was melting like, just iceberg. It
Okay.
was melting, melting, and then I had change of strange feeling, which I am going to write in my book.
So what you are really saying is so powerful, Mrs. Wakhlu. When we lose our faith, we lose question everything around us, which anyone would. You have, and I can understand your outrage because you are a Kashmiri.
Yeah,
You are a product of this land. You're a part and parcel of this land, and somebody kidnaps you from your own home. I mean,
home.
what bigger outrage than that? And then
That
you
was
question, obviously, you are questioning God, you are questioning so many other things. And the strange thing is, as you said, and the azan came, and then everything became clear to you in a certain
not
sense.
clear exactly what happened. As I, within my lump of my chest, it
Lifted.
melted. And then what happened actually? I opened my eyes. I was not looking at these militants on their faces,
Right.
beard and horrible looking people. I had never seen their faces. When I opened my eyes first time, after meditation, in the,
Right.
consciousness, little dawn, it was dawn time,
Right.
early morning, and some rays of morning
Right.
sun was coming,
Yeah.
little.
Yeah.
And then I saw these militants. They were just human beings. First time I thought they are humans.
Okay.
They are not
Wonderful.
beasts. They are not rakshasas. I
Right.
said, am I scared of these people? Who are they? They are just like us. What
There
has
is
happened?
difference.
And my whole attitude, whatever it happened. And in the morning, what I did, I got up, and they were actually doing nasty things to those these hideout people, I
Yes.
mean, landlords and landladies, they
Right.
would order and anything. I don't know why, how. I said, you get going, you are ordering like that. Are you there? ये मेहमान हो क्या? You get up, why don't you get up and pick up your bistara, pick up your bedding and everything?
Okay.
You help these people. I don't know who was ordering me to say so, but it was coming out of my
Coming
own.
out of you.
But I don't know who was pushing me to say so like that. It
This
was
is
something, and they were so scared.
right.
And they followed me like as if I was teacher, and they were, and to one, he was younger than all those other people.
Sure.
I slapped his face, and then they all got fell in line. And from that
Fantastic.
day
I mean,
on,
I can't have don't have words to describe your courage, you know. But
and that was God's ways, really. And it was
fantastic. This is
great.
remarkable. So let's, Mrs. Wakhlu, towards the conclusion of our interview, let's talk of a couple of other things which are important.
Yes.
Um, Kashmir is again in the throes of change, and we have seen in the last 2 years, especially after Article 370 has been scrapped.
Yes, that
Uh,
is that's
so yeah, the government says that there is a new Kashmir which is emerging, a Naya Kashmir. But then, you know, we have heard phrases in the past like Kashmiriyat, Dil ki Duri, you know, all these phrases have been heard. What do they mean really in the present context? Is that syncretic faith of Hindus and Muslims? You have said it's not gone, you said that it's very much there. But how do you, when you look in the prism, how do you see the future? How is it unfolding in front of your eyes?
I think we don't have to go to the past. What has happened has happened.
Okay,
I don't want to go into 370 and this and that.
that's
Then we won't reach anywhere.
sure.
From here to forward, we have to go forward. We don't have to go. Nothing in the history goes backwards.
Correct.
Nothing goes backwards. Even if I would like to be, I would like to get those old things, that won't come back. So we have to go forward. And aspiration of youth is so much. They would like to be at par with those people who are progressive, who are doing good, who are doing wonderful things, sports, education, recreation.
That's right.
They would like to have all sorts of things and narratives, whichever, whatever it was up till this time. I think they are things are past now. We don't have to again and again rub on the same thing again. That is my personal opinion.
Right.
We
Right.
have
But
to
you know,
go forward. And
absolutely.
Kashmir has to move forward with everyone, everywhere. And I must tell you one thing, Kashmiris are very, very intelligent. And
Very,
they can
very.
do lots good. Very
Oh,
intelligent people.
okay. Okay.
Very intelligent. Very, if they mean to do business, they will make this state wonderful.
Yeah. So, so,
And
so there is hope.
I have faith. I have faith.
Yeah.
Young people are looking forward, younger generation. And
Yes.
I am still working. I am a senior Congress leader. I am not in a active politics,
Right.
but active means, but I can
I understand.
sometimes, yes, give my opinion and give my,
Correct.
directions and the other things. And I'm seeing that people are looking forward. They would also
And
like to compete. They would also like to be in limelight. They will also like to have peace. Who wouldn't like to have
who
peace?
wouldn't like? Absolutely. But do you see a time, do you think that's even a possibility that the Kashmiri Pandits would probably one day come back to their homeland? Is that something which is, you think it's even possible something like that could ever happen?
I must tell you one thing. Kashmiri Pandits they are not heard. They don't, you don't have to pick them like this and say that you have to. They have got brains. They are quite educated. Everybody understands everything.
Right.
So are people here also. If somebody wants, there are so many families. Government also has to do little bit helping, little helping. But people are quite okay. They would understand everything. And I must tell you one thing, even in villages, so many villagers has kept their land intact. They have not sold. It is the problem is only with those people who were living in the city, in the main cities like
Right.
Srinagar city and Anantnag cities, and those people who were from villages. At that time, it was really awful, no doubt. So many people were killed, so many people were hanged, so many people were beheaded.
Sure.
And at that time, naturally, anybody would run away. This time, we are seeing it today in Afghanistan. When they hear that those people are harassing people like anything, they are running from that.
They're running.
I mean,
Sure.
from Afghanistan,
So very interesting. You are saying because
Kabul.
I had read reports, which is long back, that a lot of houses in Rainwadi and other places with the Kashmiri pundits had been occupied by their neighbors and all that. But you're saying in the
Occupied and
villages,
sold also. Yes, that is true.
right,
Because you see, at that time, the situation was such that those people who didn't have much to spend,
right,
whatever was remaining here, they sold off. And that too in a, distress sale, very distressed. I mean, if somebody had property worth crores or lakhs, he
yeah,
sold it for tuppence. That
tuppence,
happened.
literally, yeah,
But that was that time. It was situation like this,
that time,
and I must tell you, our history has been like this. And these people who are living here are our own blood, our own. If you are going to see DNA, same people, same
absolutely,
uh,
that's what
uh,
they say, yeah,
and nuances, the language, eating habits. You can say that culture, everything is same. Nothing has changed.
nothing has changed.
But those people, whenever we used to have something terrible in our land,
That's
I
right,
mean in Kashmir,
yeah,
so everybody used to go, which I have mentioned in this book also.
that's
People
right,
would go, younger generation, young people would go and collect some money to have pour water to some shrines that to stop barish or stop rains and other things
that's
and
right,
stop famine or something like that.
okay,
That was custom here.
that's
It
right.
was not something
So I,
and langars and other things used to
that's
happen.
right,
Batmol was a big saint, Kashmiri Pandit Hindu saint, and following was all Muslims, and Muslims were Hindus at that time, and they were converts. That's
that's
all.
right,
They
right.
are all converts. Habits are same, customs are same, marriages are same,
Hmm.
libas is same, dresses
Right,
is same.
right.
Nothing has changed much. But
This
of
is
course, IT and other things are not that is it.
no, but
New.
this is remarkable what you're saying that and things are of course a little bit much better today in Kashmir. But I'll end on this note because as usual, Kashmir has a very turbulent history and a past.
Very
There's a
turbulent,
new
very
threat,
turbulent.
Mrs. Vaku. There's a new threat which is emerging. We all know, you must have read in the papers also about what's happening in Afghanistan. So they're saying there
Oh,
might be
yes,
a
yes.
spillover effect here in
Just
Kashmir.
imagine 400, 500 years back when those warriors came on horseback and like that, Afghanis, which are in this century. You can imagine at that time, people had no ammunition, they had no weapons, nothing. With चाकू से तो कोई जंग नहीं कर सकता.
Right, right,
And
okay.
they poor fellow, they were made slaves, whosoever was spared.
Right.
Others were killed. And they say that the color of river Jhelum was red because
Red.
so many people were killed. So many, thousands, lakhs people,
Correct.
women,
Correct.
young boys, children were killed, and others who were spared little bit, they were made slaves, and that slavish that was up till this time.
That's right.
No, our history has been treacherous,
It has been
very
treacherous,
treacherous.
turbulent. Mrs. Vaklu, we can go on and on. There's such fascinating stories which you are telling us. But how's
I
the
am not
food?
actually. I have our Dadaji, our Dadaji's father. They used to have diaries of those things.
That's right. Right.
That is why I know these matters. That's why I have written that kidnapping and other things.
I
I
know.
have heard and I have read in my Dadaji's diary also.
That's right. So, just to end on a different note altogether, the book has been released. Your book has been released. How's it doing? I'm looking forward to reading it, and I'm sure you're getting calls every day from friends, admirers, and your
Yes,
readers.
yes, yes.
By the way, viewers, I have to tell you that she's also written a book on a kidnapping ordeal also. So, if you are reading a book, please pick up that book also. Which,
Yes, yes, that's
so,
right.
Mrs. Vaklu, it's been absolutely wonderful talking to you. As I said, these are stories but these are real stories. These are not just stories.
Real ones,
These
which
are
I
real,
have gone through myself.
real experiences. This is a changing land. This is a land of a people who have been traumatized, but a great people. I'm so happy to hear that the syncretic faith, that the all said and done, despite everything, the Hindus and Muslims still see eye to eye. They are together.
Of course.
Absolutely pleasure, Mrs. Vaklu, talking to you,
It was
and
my pleasure to talk to you,
and
really.
we hope to catch up with your next book one of these days again.
Oh, sure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank
Okay, soon.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.